Got my book for Bastogne Nuts. It is the last book for the Battle of the Bulge series, which included Devil's Charge and Blood. Let me just fix that for you. Blood, Guts, and Glory. So I was taking a look through it, and I'll start with the Airborne Forces. The Airborne Forces include, if you like heroes, if you like the warriors, Easy Company is the king of the warriors. I mean, you've got Winters, you've got Spears, you've got Lipton, Rowe, Toka, Sergeants, and Shifty Powers. I mean, just a lot of warriors. And then for the Parachute Rifle Company, which is the main thing you're probably going to be looking at, I'm going to say it's got a lot of stuff I really wanted, but there's one thing that really gets me, and that is the reduced amount of forces that you get in each platoon. Now, I don't know if, you normally didn't get a big platoon, but you could see here, well, if I take the, excuse me, the forces for the airborne troops, you can see you get 9 rifle MG platoons, or at least you could, and then the rest of it here is just 6. So you don't get an option to add an extra rifle MG team to each squad, and that hurts. That kind of takes away from my strategy, because I always liked Airborne, American Airborne, because they were fearless trained. You had the gammon bombs. You didn't really fear anybody. They were really good, and you just load up on your first platoon. That's how I beat my friends with the Airborne. I'd take one full platoon, add in bazookas, machine guns, whatever I could attach to it, and of course the one I see, and then just plow right through their lines. And it's just an unstoppable. It's like playing Russians, basically, but they're fearless veteran. I mean, it's just they're just absolutely devastating. So with the Market Garden, hopefully Market Garden will also stay this way, because Market Garden also has the same platoon setup, whereas over here you're kind of reduced. You have small, well, medium-sized platoons. I mean, they're bigger than British and German, but not by much. So it's a big down for me. I was very disappointed when I saw that. It has all the other stuff, though. It has better tanks, better tank destroyers, better artillery, because you can get the 155s without getting 105s, which the other guys can't do. You get the air support coupled in with the air observer, so that's kind of bad. Your air support can get rockets, close air supports. I mean, you get all the bells and whistles, you just don't get the meat. So I'm really disappointed with that. Kind of took a lot of wind out of my sails when I saw that, because I'm used to playing 82nd Airborne out of the Market Garden. I really like Cook. But to continue here, we got the engineers. You can have a glider or a parachute, and they're pretty cool. They're pretty standard airborne engineers. They get similar equipment, except they just don't get mortars and machine guns, but they get all that stuff, or the machine guns, intrinsic into their platoon, so they're doing all right. And then you have your glider rifle, which is confident veteran instead of confident trained. We're used to confident trained all the time, but these guys are a little bit more experienced. They have a lot of options, and they get to stack up. But I mean, at that point, you're confident veteran. You don't have the gammon bombs, but you can load up on bazookas. So I'm thinking, if I go with this book, it's probably going to be glider rifle. I'll miss the fearless, but you know what? This is comparable. I mean, I'm looking at the 2IC here, and the 2IC is awesome. It is only 200 points, and these guys are 225 for, let's see, you get a extra mortar section in there. That's about it. Otherwise, they're the same. So for about 25 points, you're getting a mortar. So, the 2nd Infantry Division is still, I think, the king of the hill right now with all the stuff that you can get with it. You can get a lot of options with these guys. You can get bazookas, just like the other ones. You can replace one rifle team with a 50 cal at no cost, which is cool. So these guys are good. They're comparable to the 2nd Infantry Division, but you know what, if you already got the 2nd Infantry Division, you're going with that, then you might just want to stay with it. So you get the same options on tanks, planes, so not too much difference going on there with the Americans. The nice part, ironically, about the book is actually the Germans, because if you're playing Battle of the Bulge, the Germans in Blood, Guts, and Glory are reluctant, trained, just really low-level troops. In this book, in Devil's Charge, you got reluctant trained. You have fearless trained troops with Piper's Charge, and or Kampf Group Piper, and then you have the SS group over here later, where they are, I believe, fearless trained and fearless veteran and competent veteran. So, but that's kind of a hodgepodge. They're not really standard German troops in here. I like the way that they set it up. They got reluctant trained and confident veteran. So again, you got a hodgepodge, but these are more regular troops. You can make a good, serious tournament list with these guys. They are expensive because they are all Panzerfaust assault teams. Well, most of them are. You got 4 Panzerfaust assault teams, and you can add some Panzerfaust MG teams. The options are excellent. One thing that I'll point out that is really getting my attention for these Volksgrenadier companies is the Scout Platoon, 49. Now, first of all, you get a special rule here that not only do you get to always attack, and that's always attack against an infantry company. So if you go up against another infantry company, you can be attacker. And also it gives you some spearhead moves. So getting the scouts is a really good idea, and they're on foot. Almost all German reconnaissance are in armored cars, and the armored cars are great, but the move Stormtrooper dig in with reconnaissance makes them much more versatile, in my opinion, even though they're slower. So I really like the foot scout platoons. So they have really got my attention. All the normal, you got some different things, but you got the 8 centimeter, the 12 centimeter mortars, heavy machine guns as usual. You think, when you look at the force chart, you think it's Hetzers here for the tank hunter, but you could also stick Stugs in there instead. So a lot of Stugs in this list. If you're a Stug fan, then you'll like this list. Of course, the regular artillery. One thing that I really like, that I think is a great thing, because I'm a points hog. If I could just find it real quick. And no, I'm not going to find it, am I? Well, anyway, the rocket launcher, you get the big rockets now if you need them. So let me see if I can find that for you. Rocket launcher is 53. So let me go back here. Here we go. They're reluctant trained. Now, I know that sounds really bad because you want artillery to be able to hit, but they're so stinking cheap. Look at that. I could put 3 of my Nebelwerfer 41 out there for 70 points. That's, that's a little bit more than a sniper. So, really cheap rocket artillery, and you can get these monster Nebelwerfers that basically they need they really fire every other turn. If you fire and then try to fire the next turn, then they have to make a skill check in order to shoot. So, if you're going to do that, you probably should have 6. But even 6, it's 195 points, and they're just so devastating. There's something like anti-tank 3, firepower 1, so they're really good. So getting back to this list, I think it's a great infantry list, and if you really feel crazy, go with the reluctant train, but of course confident veteran. They're terrific, a lot of assault rifles running around, a lot of MGs and so forth. So they're very heavily armed. They're ready to go in there and smash some faces. You also have a list for Nordwind. They start off with, you got the Sturm Tigers, or whatever they are. You got another Panzer Grenadier Company. This is really cool too. You can have here Confident Veteran or the 17th SS, Fearless Trained. And these are Panzerfaust MG teams. So a little bit more standard. You get Panzerfaust all over the place. Again, they're kind of expensive because you got all those Panzerfausts. and but then the standard or pretty much standard infantry that you're used to the Germans having, and a lot of good anti-air. I like that anti-air. And then of course you got the Schwer Panzerjäger Company, which comes with the Jagd Tigers. Now the Jagd Tigers, I mean, look at the prices. These are reluctant veteran, and they're still that high. These things are devastating. They're just huge, but I see a lot of problems with them. They're hull-mounted guns, and they're overloaded, so they can get stuck. I just imagine trying to move and get a shot. Getting to their sides is a real problem that they have to deal with. And very few options for that list, so I'm not too crazy about it at first glance. I mean, I could change my mind. And then you've got the Focke-Wulf 190s along with the 260 262s. So overall. Oh, and at the end you've got the rules for the commandos, and then they've got some nice painting, and then they have the winter rules. Now, if you have the other two books, if you got Blood, Guts, and Glory and Devil's Charge, you have all the winter rules. They didn't add anything in here. They just kind of combine them. You have the fog in the Blood, Guts, and Glory, and the other winter weather stuff in Devil's Charge, and they just combined into nuts. So if you don't have the other two books, you'll get all the rules for winter in here. One other thing I want to say. I got it handed to Battlefront. It feels thicker. It feels tougher. The quality of their books seem to go up. I mean, I used to have my Hell's Highway book is falling apart. The poor quality Dogs and Devils was good, but it's kind of flimsy. And every time I get a new book, it feels like the covers get thicker, the pages get sturdier, the binding gets better. So they did a real good job putting it together. Now the lists are good. Now I'm going to give it a thumbs down, but it's with a big asterisk. The reason is because I expected more out of the Airborne. That losing those guys is good balance. It's very smart. I guess it's historical. I was hoping to have, maybe I was just trying to be greedy by having those one big platoon, and then the awesome tanks and the planes and so forth, and with my Airborne. But you can't have everything, I guess. That's the downside. So I'm probably not even going to play the Airborne. Amazingly, I've been waiting for this since forever, and now I'm probably not going to use it. I'm probably going to use the other Airborne when I play. But the list is still good. If you don't have the Hell's Highway, or you're still waiting for the compilations, and you don't have the D-Day books, and you just want to play Airborne, it's still a great book. It's great for Airborne. It's just not. I'll probably play it, but right now I'm not as enthused as I thought I would be. The German list, if you're just playing the Battle of the Bulge, I think they got the best German units in there, because the infantry is really well balanced, and they have a lot of great options, and it just seems set up very well. You get to have regular troops, whereas with Devil's Charge you've got Fearless Trained, and you got some regular troops, but they're still weird. And then Blood, Guts, and Glory, of course, you got the Reluctant Trained Panther craziness. So if you want to get crazy, you go with the Blood, Guts, and Glory. You want to get a little funky, you go with Devil's Charge, and you want standard lists, you go to the nuts for the Germans. So it's a good book. I would I don't regret buying it. I'm just a little disappointed in the American Airborne. I thought it'd be super awesome to have all those tanks and my big platoon, because that's been the crux of my strategy whenever I play Airborne. So it's a very reluctant. It's a reluctant conscript thumbs down. Just barely. Just because of my initial disappointment. But I'm sure it'll grow on me over time, as all their books do. They're all terrific. I just feel like, I bought the other two books, and I got the same winter rules. I have all the other German books, and it just, I didn't get as much as I thought I would get. There's no Tiger tanks in here. I know there are Tigers running around Battle of the Bulge. So no Tigers in any of these three books, and so it was a last book, and I guess I expected way too much.